Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shackeria. So today I'm going to be doing a first impression slash review slash what do I think of it on the Juno Co Microfiber Velvet Sponge. So I got two sponges actually. I got the Fusion sponge and I also got the Velvet sponge as well. I don't know what the difference is, but today I'm just going to try the original, the Velvet sponge, and then maybe try the Fusion sponge somewhat later. It looks like the only thing that's different is the shape. But anyway, so I'm going to be trying out one of these sponges today just to see how it performs. This is not necessarily going to be like a review. You know, it's kind of going to be like a first impressions and, you know, what are my thoughts? How does it blend out my foundation? Do I like the way that it blends out my foundation and my concealer? And just kind of share with you guys what I think of this sponge itself. So if you guys are interested in seeing that, then keep on watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys later. So I already have my brows done, and I feel like I did a really good job at my brows today, and I'm not even really doing anything too serious today, and my eyebrows look really good. All right, so I only watched a few videos on this sponge. I didn't really care that much. I'm just gonna read on the back what it says. It says, if you're looking for a more natural airbrushed foundation finish, the Juno Microfiber Velvet Sponge is your go-to. Made with velvet soft microfiber bristles and a slanted edge for controlled stippling, the Juno Microfiber Velvet Sponge provides buildable coverage fast. Okay, so it kind of has this little guide, so I'm going to kind of go through the guide, see what it says. You can use a sponge wet or dry to apply your makeup products, which is good to hear because I like using my sponges wet, a little bit dampened. You can use liquid foundations, concealers. You can do contour, blush, and highlight, or loose powders. Tips: spritz your favorite prep or setting spray onto the sponge for a dewy finish. Do not apply the foundation directly onto the Juno sponge as it will transfer too thick. It's better to apply your foundation onto another surface, then use light dabbing motions to transfer onto your skin. Use stippling and swiping motions to blend the foundation or product onto your skin until the desired look is achieved. Okie dokie. So I'm going to go wet this and I will be right back. So I wet the sponge and this is what it's looking like when it's wet. It honestly doesn't feel any different. I thought it would feel maybe a little bit softer, but it feels the same, and I thought it would expand a little bit more, but in my opinion it just seems like it's the same size. I was originally going to just squirt the foundation on my face and just kind of like dab it around to blend it out, but I think instead I'm going to put my foundation on this dish and just kind of dab the sponge in there and apply it to my face. So the foundation that I'm going to be using is a Fenty Beauty foundation, and I'm also going to throw in a little bit of the L'Oreal True Match. This was a combination that I was using all throughout like the holiday season, and I really like how it looks. All right, and there's my foundation just on the dish. All right, so the way that I usually put on my foundation is I do tend to go towards using a brush first and then I go in with a sponge, but for the purpose of this video I'm just going to go straight into using a sponge, which is going to be a little bit different for me, but I want to see how this sponge performs just on its own. So I'm going to go in. I already primed my face and I did my eyebrows already. I think I mentioned that already as well, but my face is primed, so I can just go straight into the foundation. I'm gonna just do one half of my face so that you guys can see what it looks like. I think I might zoom you guys in just a tiny bit more, just like that. I'm gonna start down here, I guess. Ooh, wow, that's a little intense. It said dab and stipple and just kind of move around as I need it. Okay, I'm good. Oh, okay. It picked up a lot more than I thought it was gonna pick up, to be honest with you. blend it down my neck. Alright, that's just one layer right there, and it actually blended out really nicely on my face. I'm gonna do my forehead now. Alright, so that is one layer of the foundation blended out with the sponge. This is what my sponge is looking like right now. And it said I can also stipple it on, and then, you know, I can move it along my face, and that's what I did when I got down here. And it doesn't look like it dragged or moved the foundation around too much. So this is just one half of my face done. This side is not done yet, but this side is done, and it looks really good. I actually really like it. It surprised me. I'm gonna just apply a little bit more just on this breakout that I have kind of right here, just to see how it looks just a little bit built up, just on that cheek area. Alright, so building it up is not that bad. I still haven't quite covered this breakout yet. This might be like a color correcting situation, to be honest with you. But built up, I put it in this area right here, and my cheeks are kind of like my problem area, and sometimes if I layer too many things on top of it, it kind of looks a little bit dry and cracked. But right now, just right off the bat, it doesn't look too bad. It seemed to have blended out really nicely into the first layer of foundation that I put on, and I think it looks really, really, really good. So I'm going to do the other half of my face, and then I'll come back and show you guys what it looks like. Alright, and that is what my face looks like, all done with the sponge. I honestly like the way that it looks. I like the finish of it just right off the bat. So now I'm going to go in, I'm going to do my concealer, and I'm going to go with the LA Pro Girl concealer, and I'm going to see how that blends out with the sponge. And then I'm actually going to apply a little bit of this Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer. And to be quite honest with you, my sponge does feel a little bit dry. So I am going to spritz it with just some water. This is just some water in a bottle, just to rehydrate it a little bit, because it does feel dry, and I can't really, it's hard to tell when it feels dampened enough, but I just feel like it feels dry to me. So I'm just going to blend out the middle of my face first, and then I'm going to do under my eyes. So now I'm going to blend out under my eye. And I'm using like the same area of the sponge. I'm not using anywhere else. And it still seems to be blending out really nicely. So I'm just going to blend out under my eye. Oh, okay. That looks really good. I like that so far. Now I'm gonna go set my face and set under my eyes, and then I will come back and share with you guys my final thoughts. Alright, so I am back and I'm all done, and I finished setting under my eye and the rest of my face. I'm looking really highlighted, and I'm actually looking really good right now. So this is what my face looks like after I have used the sponge to do my foundation. I didn't use it to set because I regularly don't use the sponge to set under my eyes anyways, or I don't bake, I should say. I did use this brush right here just to set under my eyes, just in case you were wondering. So after using the sponge to do my foundation and my concealer, I'm now going to share with you guys what my thoughts are on the sponge overall. So overall, I actually really do like the sponge. I was pleasantly surprised by it. I must admit, going into this, I was just kind of like, if it worked, cool. If it didn't, you know, it was a little bit inexpensive, so I would feel like I'm not losing, like, you know, a $20 beauty blender or something like that. But to me, I was just like, you know, it's a makeup sponge. Let's see what happens. I really liked how it blended out the foundation. It didn't seem like, it didn't give me too much of a hard time. Sometimes when I use sponges, depending on how cheap or expensive they are, sometimes when it comes to actually blending out the product, I feel like sometimes sponges pick it up more than they distribute it on the face. And I feel like this sponge actually did a really good job at moving the foundation on my face and distributing it evenly. I felt like it didn't pick up my foundation too much, which is one thing that I absolutely positively hate, which is why I don't really use sponges to do my makeup in the first place, because I honestly feel like sometimes the sponges pick up too much of my foundation, and I don't like that, which is why I tend to go with a brush first and then do a sponge afterwards. But with this sponge right here, it didn't do that, and I actually really like that. So that was great, because you know that feeling, you know, when you use a sponge and you put the first amount that you put on your face, sometimes it doesn't blend out nicely and it kind of just sits there right there on your cheek. I hate that. So when I first put the foundation on, I thought that's what it was going to do, but it didn't end up doing that. And that's why I'm saying I'm pleasantly surprised, because I wasn't expecting it to do such a good job, in my opinion. And this is just off the first bat. Haven't used this sponge before, and we'll see how it works over time. Yeah, so overall I really like the sponge. So here are some things that were kind of iffy about the sponge. The sponge is an odd shape. It's not as, I guess you can say, it's not as slender as some of the other sponges that I use to do my makeup, so I kind of had a hard time like getting into the inner corner of my eye in here. So that was a little bit hard, but I did squeeze it and really like get in there, and it kind of seemed to have done the job. Another thing that I had an issue with was when it came to blending down the bridge of my nose using the sponge. Usually what I do is I squeeze the sponge and then I just kind of like dab it down the bridge of my nose. And just looking at my nose right now, my nose does not look like it's the highlight that I put on my nose doesn't look like it blended out that nicely. It could have just been how I blended. I don't know if it was the sponge, but that I didn't like that. But overall, like, I can't really complain. I didn't use the sponge to set my face because I don't do that on a regular basis anyway, so I didn't see the need to do it. It said I could use it, but I didn't. I also did not contour my face because I don't always go to liquid contour. I tend to do a powder bronzer instead, so I didn't use it to contour. If you could see, I do have a little bit of bronzer on my face. I didn't use the sponge, but it said I can do that. Overall, I really do like this sponge. Do I recommend the sponge? I do, and why I recommend it is simply because it is, first of all, inexpensive, and it does a really good job at blending out. I think I would rather use this sponge wet than I would dry. I don't know, something about the microfibers make it feel like it's drier than it actually is, and I feel like if you want to get that really nice, flawless, airbrushed, dewy type of look, I think the best thing to do is use it wet. So if you are going to get the sponge, I highly suggest that you use it wet, just for the feeling. I don't know. But yes, I do recommend this sponge. I do actually like it, and I'm actually excited to experiment with it a little bit more, use it more often, use the other sides. So that is it. That is what I wanted to share with you guys today. You know, it's a new tool that's going to be in my makeup arsenal, so if you guys see it in any of my later videos, you'll know that, you know, this was a good little demonstration, and this product has survived and it's going to be in my regular rotation. So that is basically it. So thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I will see you guys on my next upload. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And oh yeah, and I also want to say welcome to all my new subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing, and I will see you guys on my next upload. Bye.